She was actually there with her boyfriend, and then so I don't know what they were actually, but they were a couple. So she introduced me to him, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, y'all cute, y'all do y'all thing, whatever. And then the person that I was with walked up to me and said, oh, they trying to get down. And I said,
hey, how you doing? How your mama doing? How your daddy doing? Doing good, all right. My name is Jazelle, and I go by Jazelle.
and my name is Rikita Michelle, and welcome back to another episode of Who You Talking To? What is going on? So yeah. So let's start off by
Right.
It's been a while. Full transparency. It's been a while since we recorded. Life be lifing. So yeah. It's been, we have a goal of recording every week. And it's probably been about 3. So
It's been 2.
So yeah. So since we've last recorded, let's talk about what's been going on in our lives, what's been going on with you, what's going on with me, like for the past few weeks.
The past 2 weeks I've been doing a lot of track things, a lot of big track things. 2 weeks ago I had a conference, and then the week after that I have regionals.
So it's like nearing the end of the track season.
Yep, this is championship season. Yes. The regular season is over. We're in the playoffs now. Okay. And States is tomorrow.
So let's talk about conference and regionals. Are you nervous about States?
No, not yet.
Don't be nervous. You got it. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about conference and regionals.
So conference. Mm-hmm. Conference champion. Here.
In which event?
In the flesh. In the flesh. For high jump. And I got second in triple jump. I was first. But then somebody that was running a race came in late and then beat me.
Oh.
So quite angry.
This happened at conference?
Yeah. So I got second.
You have a medal for that?
In triple jump. No, the people that got medals were
only first place winners.
Yeah. That's ghetto. But yeah, so conference champion.
In which event?
High jump.
Per.
Second in triple jump.
And what was there? What height did you, what did you clear during that meet? Oh my gosh.
I cleared 5'2". I didn't clear 5'3". Quite mad about that because my PR is 5'4". I should have cleared 5'3". And I was going against a person. We were like going back and forth. It was like really good competition. But yeah, and I ended up winning. Conference champion.
Yeah, she ended up winning, and she was upset after her first place win because she didn't reach her goal of clearing 5'3". But it's okay. I told her, we live to fight another day. It's all good. So that's
still mad to this day.
It's okay. You got first place.
Right.
So, and then, so that was conference. Now regionals, how'd they go?
Regionals are here. Triple jump.
First of all, before you say this, hold that thought. I just want to let them know, like, you have to qualify during the normal season to be eligible to go to regionals. So for high jump, you have to jump at least 5 foot even. You have to clear that height in order to qualify to go to regionals. And then in triple jump, you have to do what?
34.6.
You have to jump at least 34 feet 6 inches. Yep. And triple jump in order to qualify to participate in regionals. So she qualified in both, clearly. So because she participated in both.
Yeah.
Okay, so now.
So triple jump. Yeah. Was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I got DQ'd and scratched all my jumps. Yeah, they scratched all my jumps. And I definitely PR'd in every single one. And my foot was over the board. I don't know what was going on. And coach said that I was running very fast. So that he said that had a lot to do with it. But yeah.
And mind you, I did not go to the regional meet because I was having car problems. It wasn't in the city. And so I was watching the live event. They had like live results, well, semi-live when it comes to the jumping events because it wasn't really live. But so I was looking at her like results of like high jump and triple jump. And then at triple jump at first they didn't have anything. And then I went back to it and it showed her name all the way at the bottom and then like disqualified. And I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, that happened that great. And everybody said that I had such good jumps and they scratched it. Like even the best jumper that was there, and she jumps like 38 something, said that I had really good jumps and it got scratched. So
you got to figure that thing out. You got to figure that thing out because I feel like that has been a consistent theme throughout your triple jump journey.
What, scratches?
Yeah. Like, or just...
I don't scratch.
You don't scratch?
No,
maybe not during practice at meets. Well, the meets that I've been to. Well, like for instance, I probably haven't watched very closely a lot of your triple jump situations this season. But when we went to what's that school on the south side?
Marvin Ridge.
Yeah, that invitational. Yeah. You scratched a couple of those jumps too. But anyway, it's just something that needs to be worked on. That's it. And I feel like it's probably different depending on what track you're on too. Like which...
Yeah, that was a great one, Ray.
Oh, it was? At regionals?
Yes. Amazing.
Well, that's good.
It's like pillows on your feet. So yeah, that's what I've been triple jump. And high jump, I did pretty good. Top 4 in regionals moves on to states. And I got top 4. I got 3rd in high jump, and I did at the height of 5'4". So
you cleared 5'4".
Yeah. I'm clearing 5'6". Like it's really calling my name because when I was at regionals and I was at 5'6", yeah, I was over the bar and then my butt kept hitting it. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it.
Okay. So yeah. So that's what's been going on with her. Lots of track.
Yes.
So you cleared 5'4" and you got 3rd place, which was crazy. So the second place winner got cleared 5'4" too. But the way they do high jump is like you get 3 tries to clear a particular height. And if you like get it on the first try versus the 3rd try, like that determines your place. Like if the other person gets it on the first try and she got it on the 3rd try, then the other person, is placed above her. So,
Yes. Yes.
Is what it is. But yeah, good deal. So you excited for states?
Yeah. I'm number 6 in the state. So we should. We should be in there, getting a few points for the team.
So,
apparently 1st through 4th place gets a medal, but I don't know how 4th place gets a medal.
I don't know how 4th place medals aren't usually a thing. So I don't know how that works. Because like gold, silver, bronze, plastic, like what comes after bronze?
Right, I don't understand.
Paper, what kind of metal? Zinc. Like, I'm trying to think of a metal, like nickel,
iron. What's going on?
I don't know. So we'll see. That'll be interesting to see. I'm excited. I will be in Greensboro for the state championship. Yes. So it'll be exciting to see.
Absolute.
For this past week for me, let's see what has happened. I mean, not week, child, several weeks. So some things have happened. I went to a wine fest, which was a good time. I've been to several of them before in the city. We have like these seasonal wine fests that happen like every fall, every spring. And they're always a good time to be had. You like go around and taste the different wines, and always a good time. So this one that we went to was very great. I was there with my partner, and there was like a bunch of my friends who were there as well. But you know, they were like in a separate from us because they think they're better than me. And so, yeah, it was a good time. Like the wines were great. Like the weather, it wasn't too hot. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't too cool. Right. It didn't rain because at first it was projected to rain. So I'm glad that it didn't. So it was great. One interesting situation that happened during this wine fest is that. So there was, I had like a cute little romper. I had my hair kind of like this, but a little bit more done. And, I was looking a little cute or whatever. And so, I was getting lots of compliments by a lot of people. And they was like, oh my God, I love your romper. Like, thanks. They're like, oh my God, I love your hair. I'm like, oh my God, stop, thanks. Oh my God, you look so cute, girl. I'm like, do I think? Like, that was kind of like, so that's kind of what it was. It was happening during the thing, right? Which is cool. Like, and I love the thing, like the black woman. Like one black woman complimenting another black woman. There's like something about that is so endearing and so just like chef's kiss. I love it. I love receiving it and I love giving it as well. Like just telling a black woman like, girl, you are killing it. Like, I love this look, or like, I love that dress. Like, it's just something from one black woman to another. Like, we see each other. So this particular black woman at the wine fest walked up to me and was like, it was actually very typical. She was like, oh my gosh, you are so pretty. Like, I love your romper. Actually, she was like, you are so pretty. I love your romper. What is going on? I'm sorry. She had a lisp. And I shouldn't be making fun of her because I too have a lisp. I don't know if it's very noticeable, but even like in my younger years, it was it was way more pronounced, should I say, than it is right now. So I should be making fun of people with lisps because people used to make fun of me for having a lisp.
Right.
Anywho. But hers was very pronounced. And, she was a cute little thing too. She was like, oh my God, you're so pretty. And I was like, oh, thank you, And then, and then Alex, he walked up to me and he was like, after like we were talking for a while, and then she was actually there with her boyfriend. And then so I don't know what they were actually, but they were a couple. So she introduced me to him and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, y'all cute. Y'all do y'all thing, whatever. And then the person that I was with walked up to me and said, oh, they trying to get down. And I said, I'm absolutely not. What are you talking about? Like, no, they're not. Relax. What? I said, relax. They're not trying to do that.
Relax.
They're just trying to be like friendly, right? Yeah. Like they're just being friendly. And so, we continue to engage in conversation. And then the gentleman that was in the other other gentleman, as well as the gentleman that I was with, we're having a conversation, and then and then me and the lady was having a conversation, and I say lady, but she was young. She was probably younger than me. And then she was like, we're just vibing, just vibe. We just vibe. And then like I don't know I can't recall like exactly the words that were said, but I started getting, it was a mixture of the words and the vibe that was happening in this like conversation. I was like, oh damn, I think he's right.
So
I think they're trying to get a little like swinger situation happening.
Right.
I don't know what's going on. And then so that was that. I mean, once I realized that this might be what we was on, I kind of like skirt. My skirt abilities are way more defined and like elevated and progressed than my partner's skirt abilities. Like his ability to skirt isn't like as advanced as mine. So I skirted and
Right.
then I looked back and I realized he was still engaged. And I was like, well,
Right.
let's get out of here. But finally, like we kind of like got away from them because they were on some other stuff. Because she was like, oh my God, you're so pretty. And she kept saying it. You're so pretty. Oh my God, and talking into my partner. You are so lucky to have her. She's so pretty. Like, oh my God, you are just gorgeous. And so, yeah, we finally skirted them after like the dude was trying to exchange numbers with my dude. My dude was very much so not interested in exchanging numbers with him. But like I said, his skirt abilities aren't as advanced as my skirt. And so I actually don't know what happened with that. Like I know he was like, he was pretending that he couldn't find his phone.
So.
And then somebody pointed out, was like, oh, there's your phone right there. And
I would have ran. Oh my God.
He had his phone in his hand. So mind you, this is his phone. But there's like a big flyer that showed like where all the wine stands were that was over his phone. So you couldn't see it. If you was looking like this, it was just the flyer. His phone was underneath. And the dude was asking, he was like, oh yeah, but he was like, yeah, take my number. And then Alex was like, oh, I can't find my phone. I don't know, like my phone. And then somebody, Ashley, it's a person, was like, oh, that's your phone. And Alex was like, oh, there it is. There's my phone that I couldn't find, that I actually have it right here in my hands. Mind you, it's a wine fest, so people are drunk, okay? People are drunk.
She's such a op.
So anyway, I don't know what happened. I think maybe he took the guy's number, but I'm pretty sure he never called it. Or if the other guy got his number, which probably didn't happen, he probably blocked them, because we skirted after that moment, and then we would like run into them like throughout the wine fest, or like we would see them walking towards us, and we'd be like skirt and just walk the other way.
Yeah.
Very awkward situation to be in. Yeah. So
Yike.
that was a wine fest situation.
That's a yike.
Cinco de Mayo also happened.
Yeah.
It just was what it was. Went out with my girls. Had lots of tequila, because when else to have tequila this week? I'm usually not a tequila drinker, but had lots of tequila that day. And Cinco de Mayo was on a Friday, which how often does that happen? So, had to take advantage. So yeah, had fun with my girls, went out, had some Mexican food at a place that was way too overcrowded and overpriced, but had a good time and good drinks.
Right.
And good times were had. So I think that's pretty much it about like what's happened these past couple weeks for me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's a yike.
Any thoughts?
No, just yike. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think let me lie. I was going to say I don't think I've ever been in that situation before. But actually, I've never been in that situation where it was like the whole couple approaching me and another person as the whole couple. But I've been in a situation where I've been with another person out and about. And then usually this is how they do it, right? I've learned they send the woman in for the kill. So the man would stay back, which this is kind of how it happened at the wine fest. But the man came in and we were all talking and it was a whole thing. That hasn't happened to me before. But this woman had approached me while I was out with a gentleman. This was years ago. And, same thing. Actually, she waited until the gentleman walked off and went to the bar. And then she approached me and was like, oh my God, you're so pretty. I was like, oh, thank you. And I was so just green and naive and I realized what was really happening. But I just told her thank you. And then she kept going. And I was like, oh my God, you're so pretty, pretty, pretty. So the compliments. And I was like, yeah, thank you. She was like, oh, get up. She was like, oh, what's this dress you got on? Get up. Let me see it. It's getting very much predator. But I didn't realize I didn't realize what was happening in the moment. And she was older too at the time. I feel like she was probably in her 40s. And I was in my 20s. I was probably in my early 30s. And so, yeah. And then when she walked off, I realized she was sitting, there was a gentleman at her table and she had gotten up just to come over and say that to me. While the gentleman I was with walked away, which I thought was super weird. And then when he came back, I told him the whole story. He was like, oh yeah, they trying to get down. And I was like, I didn't think of that. So obviously there's a whole world out there of couples trying to get in with other couples, but no thanks. Leave me out. Moving on.
Yeah.
Discussion topic. So we were mulling over what to talk about today, and we have several discussion topics that we could have talked about. But this is a video that I watched yesterday that really grinded my gears, that was being shared on social media. And it was a false rhetoric about how Black women are the reason why the Black family has been ruined, or Black women are at fault for the fail, or for the falling, or whatever you want to call it, of the Black family, of the the togetherness of Black family in one household, right? It's Black women's fault. That's that's a generalized statement of what she was saying. And it really pissed me off. And then the person who shared it, it came originally from D.L. Hughley's page, which I don't really follow him. Well, I don't follow him at all. But I've seen clips of him talking about certain situations where I'm like, okay, I can rock with him. I can rock with his his mindset, his thought process, how he thinks about especially Black issues. Maybe I've never heard him talk about Black women issues, which, it's a whole other thing. There's Black issues with Black men usually go gung-ho for Black issues because they're Black. But when it comes to Black women and how they show up in the world, then there's, you get the whole misogynoir situation happening, right? So this video, and I want to play it. I'm just going to play the audio, obviously, into the mic, because I was like, what is going on? And D.L. Hughley has 2.6 million followers, mind you. And to share something like this on your platform, which is wildly inappropriate, is wildly inaccurate, and wildly ignorant. So let me play for the world to hear, and then we'll discuss. How's that sound?
Good.
Okay.
I say we did not have a choice. We chose greed. We chose a bag over a man. We chose to not have our children. We would rather have a bunch of money than have our children have a father in the home.
I disagree.
So do not say no. You have to know the history. This is proven fact.
History.
No,
men
this is
were
proven
not
facts.
able to work and provide for their
That's
families.
absolutely
We were
false.
forced to take
That's
the
false.
government check.
That's false.
They couldn't stay in the
That's
house
false.
if they were there.
That's false.
Then how were they going to feed the
That's
children?
false.
And where was
the
it coming
children
from?
were fed. Women were greedy. Because it was coming from the government.
No.
But if the husband was home, he wouldn't be employed.
Black women wanted to be like white women in the Cosmopolitan magazine. The woman who started Cosmopolitan magazine, the main editor, she is now a Catholic, and she repented from what she did. She said we were teaching women because we wanted all women to feel that we had a gripe with white men. And so, this is public knowledge. You look it up on YouTube.
She talks about it.
Yes, absolutely. They wanted black women to also be part of their movement and other races because it wasn't enough. The black woman and the black man had to stay together in the U.S. because it was the only way for us to overcome. What they did was with Cosmo, they lied. These were women that would say, you know what, there's a single woman moved to New York. She's sleeping with different men. She has her life. She has her own money, her education. She's getting these jobs. These women were promoting promiscuity and living a certain lifestyle when they were all married. They were all lying and making up these people because it was supposed to be a fantasy magazine. But women were taken to say we did not have a choice. We chose.
Let me also say, this looks like it came originally from the pregame show. I've never heard of it. Yeah, don't know. This person who's talking is a black woman. If you did not know or couldn't tell by the voice, I don't know her ad name, Olayinka Companies. I don't know. And then there's also someone added here, Lessons of a Housewife. Thoughts? What do you think about that?
Lessons of a Housewife.
I mean, that's just, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't know I don't know. I don't follow that platform, but I'm assuming they probably post things that are like housewife friendly, or the way of thinking that a majority of housewives may think. I don't know. But there is a certain thing where white supremacy, capitalism, patriarchy, you don't have to be a white man to perpetuate those ideals. So, anyway, thoughts about what she said about that?
Yeah, I don't think it's like completely like not true. Like women or black women obviously like wanted a say, right, and wanted to be able to live their own lives and make their own money. I don't think that necessarily meant that they like would choose that like over their family, or that they were like greedy. I think they just like wanted a say in their own lives and be able to make their own choices and have their own paycheck.
Right. I think that what's lacking here is the historical context, right? Especially when you talk about the black woman, because when you talk about, in particular, black women choosing to have an income of their own instead of a man, and making a conscious choice to not have a man, work for their own money, raise their children by themselves, that is just historically incorrect, and presently actually incorrect. And so you have to look at historical context. You just have to, and how we got here and how we think about these ideals. And I'm going to read to you guys some of the comments, which are going to say kind of what I'm saying, but also have other insight into like why what she said was just ignorant and very uneducated and just asinine. So this is what I'll say. Black women historically, first of all, right? This whole like housewife, being a kept woman, being a woman who has a man who takes care of everything, and you can just stay home and take care of the kids and do the house duties, and cook and clean, right? This is a concept that has been foreign to black women. historically from the beginning of time in this country, it has not ever been a time where Black women were not working. You have to understand the history behind how Black women came to be in this country. And I'm assuming most people listening to this, and even you, right, understand the historical, how Black women came to be in this country, right? We know where they came from. Obviously, Black women were working, right? After slavery in one form was abolished in this country, do you think Black women didn't work at all? Like, just Black women just stopped working and just sat back and was like, woo, finally, now my man got to work. Absolutely not. Like, everything was against us. And I'm not just talking about Black women, I'm talking about Black people, right? The previous enslaved people. Everything was against us. We had to continue working, the women and the men, in order to make any kind of semblance of a life that would be like worth living. Right. Like women, Black women have always had to work. There was never a time, ever. There's like this fantasized, like faux quasi American dream where women have like sat at home and like kicked their feet up and like cooked a little meal here and there and took care of the kids, right? And then they blame Black women. It's like, oh, you want to go out there and like now, since y'all have all these freedoms, you want to go out there in the world and get in corporate America because that's what they say you have to do, when in actuality you're supposed to be at home. That is historically incorrect. Black women have always had to work. Always. Now, the work that we had to do historically probably wasn't the work that many other people would want to do, right? After slavery was abolished, a lot of Black women worked in white people's homes, right? Doing the cleaning that you say that these stay-at-home wives were doing. White women back in the day, stay-at-home wives were not doing that. They weren't doing the cooking and the cleaning, the well-to-do ones, all right? Let's just say there's a capitalism wealth hierarchy happening here. But so I'm talking about the well-to-do ones who were able to hire help, and the help always looked like me. The help in there was in there doing the cooking, the cleaning, the raising of the children, right? Us as Black women, we would do that to make $1 outside of the home and then still have to go home and take care of our own. It has never been a time in history where Black women as a whole were like just kept women, where we didn't have to work and try to earn $1 to contribute to the household. It just has not been a thing. Black women and men have had to work together collectively in order to stay afloat in this place that we call a country. So yeah, I just wanted to dispel that, like that like fake idea out there that it's just not true that Black women were ever in that position, right? Now she's talking about like that Cosmo magazine made us wanted to like be single and move and like go to the big city and like live this like Sex in the City. Have you ever seen that show, Sex in the City?
I know of it.
Yeah,
I never watched it before though.
Yeah, but the life that she's kind of saying about with like a white women and how they do move to the big city and be single and be like promiscuous. That's what the show is kind of like, right? Like, no, that has never been a reality for Black women. Most Black women don't have, like, we just don't have the ability, the luxury, the privilege of even thinking that is like in our reach. Like we work for what we want. Like a lot of times women, right, who work for themselves and make a life for themselves financially, do that because they have to, because it's a necessity.
Right.
Not because we choose to and we just, any man that comes my way, I just know I want to take care of myself. Like that is not what's happening. That's not what's happening. You have any more thoughts? I'm going to read comments next, but you can say thoughts.
Yeah. I definitely, I agree with what you were saying. I don't know. I think people don't know, like, the when, I guess people like her, when they think of work, they think of going somewhere and, I don't know, being in a cubicle or going somewhere and doing some kind of like labor in a factory or some, I don't know. I guess that's what they think of when they think of work, but that's not the actual. Google.
So,
definition of work. Activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result. Right? So cooking and cleaning definitely involves that.
yeah, and that is even inside the home and outside, whether you're getting paid for it, right? And this is talks about labor, which this goes into like labor and how the Black woman actually has had to have like the brunt, has had to carry the burden of the brunt of like not only like the emotional labor, but also like the physical labor inside the home, right? Like historically, that's just what the Black woman has been expected to do. And, you know, I think the jig is kind of up these days. The jig is up. Especially when like you're partnered, right? When you're partnered with a person and you're both working outside of the home, but then you expect the woman to come home and also do all of the emotional and physical labor inside the home. Absolutely not. The jig is up. But
right.
But yeah, work is that's a broad definition of work. But yeah, but work in the sense where you're getting paid like a job, like, yeah, we've been doing that since the beginning of time. Yeah. It has not stopped. I mean, even when we weren't getting paid as enslaved people, we were working. Hasn't stopped since then. Hasn't stopped. Let's see what I want to play for you before I read comments. Actually, I'm going to play for you my dear, I'm saying it like I know this person. Kimberly Foster. What?
That's what they brought up.
Oh, the work by, is that Rihanna's song?
Yeah.
Work, 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 work.
So
So
I did not know these were the lyrics. What is going on? He said me happy work.
He said me happy work. Anyway, let's not go down the rabbit hole. Okay. Kimberly Foster, who is the founder of For Harriet. I follow her on Instagram, YouTube. Great. Very well read Black woman who speaks about serious issues. Anyway, this video she recently posted has is what I think about when I think about women, the Black woman who said that bull crap that she said that I already let y'all listen to. Clearly she needs to, you know, pick up a book, put down the microphone, pick up a book. And that's a whole other conversation about all these people who are running out getting microphones and cameras. Mind you, we're sitting here with microphones and camera, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about everybody, all these people who are picking up microphones and cameras and spewing this kind of rhetoric online who don't pick up books. Pick up a book. Audiobooks are a thing. Listen to a book. I don't know. Anyway, let's listen to Kimberly.
It hurts my feelings that I see Black people who think that learning for learning's sake is stupid, that there's no value in it, that if you cannot directly connect opening a book to how you're gonna make $1, that's useless. That hurts my feelings. I get it. I understand the financial constraints, but it makes me sad. So now that we're in a context where it's going to become more structurally difficult to go to college, that there are new boundaries and barriers that are going to be really, really hard for the average Black person to surmount, to hear that rhetoric continue to be spread, like, it hurts my feelings.
The importance of reading, guys. For historical context.
Means overcome.
Huh?
Surmount means overcome. She uses a lot of big words.
She does. But this is how you can improve your vocabulary. Listen to people who know more words than you, and then they say something that you don't know, look it up, which is what you just did. So yeah, yay for you.
Yeah.
Gonna go back to this post, right? On D.L. Hughley's page. So first I'm gonna read what I said. I said, this heifer sounds stupid and her claims are baseless, ignorant, and wildly historical. Sorry, start over. This heifer sounds stupid and her claims are baseless, ignorant, and wildly historically incorrect. The amount of people who would rather pick up mics and a camera rather than a book is astronomical. And here you go reposting it as if it's fact. To blame the destruction of Black families wholly on Black women is rooted in misogyny and white supremacy, but y'all too busy hating Black women to do correct historical research. Spewing this ridiculous rhetoric for thousands to hear for clicks and views is irresponsible and dangerous. Just sad. Okay, that's what I said. Like, and
the art of effective or persuasive speaking, of writing, especially the use of figures of speech and other compositional techniques. So
rhetoric is like a way of view, like speaking like
okay, got it.
Yeah, it's like speaking of a certain point of view. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to this original video with the lady. I'm going to read a couple of these comments, right? Because they hit on point, and there's some of the top comments, which I am proud of my Black sisters and my Black brothers who made the comments that need to be made. Because absolutely not. This person, Sokoto_red, says, as a PhD student of 19th century American history, this argument claim is way off kilter. Go read scholarship. She said, go read real scholarship. Stop getting info off YouTube and running with it. You have to get in the archives. Black women are not to blame for the downfall of the Black family. This is absurd. I don't have time to lecture, but y'all got a lot of decolonizing to do. Start with scholarly sources by Evelyn Higginbottom, Tara Hunter, Elizabeth Clark Lewis, people who have been trained to critically think and research. Read Rethinking Rufus. You can start this discussion in the you can't start this discussion in the 20th century with magazines. You have to go back to the colonial era. Interrogate the past and how ideas evolved and what kind of patriarchy are Black folks subscribing to. I don't know why this was posted, and we know most people don't read, but base their thoughts off what they think is right, but haven't challenged societal norms and why things are how they are. And this goes back to what I said, goes back to what Kimberly Foster said, and for Harriet, like, even if you can't do the reading yourself, right? I understand that telling people to read books can sound elitist.
Right.
Right? Most of us are on social media. Most of us are on YouTube. A lot of times, like, the reading isn't necessary these days, especially because you can, first of all, audiobooks are things, but you can't do audiobooks. You can listen to people who have done the reading, right? And it's very easy to distinguish. Yes, Kimberly Foster from Fort Harriet is one of them. Jules Z is one of them off the top of my head who has done the reading. You can even go historically. There's lots of archival speeches and like conversations on topics of like race and gender. I watch pretty much every James Baldwin video there is to watch on YouTube. Love him, love his way of thinking and how he thinks about like the social society issues, right? Even Malcolm X, like they have conversations with like Malcolm X, James Baldwin, and like other like prominent historical Black cultural like figures who are like in the civil rights movement. They have these videos where like 4 or 5 of these people who mostly are not with us today are having conversations. Listen to those. Okay. A lot of those issues are still prevalent today. A lot of it still applies today. And if you listen to what they were talking about back then, and there's also a conversation between Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin that is on YouTube, which is really, really good because it's between a man and a woman, both who are very much so in like the Black social political like fight back then. It's very good because there was like some discrepancy there with the gender thing, right? And you know what Nikki Giovanni had to say in opposition to what some of the things that James Baldwin had to say. Very good conversation. Like these conversations, listen to them. If you have time or like the resources to like read books by some of the people that I named in the post that I just read. I know that Bell Hooks writes. She's like Bell Hooks is a favorite author of Kimberly Foster that I was talking about, but she has written plenty of books on feminism. Just please. The reading is necessary, but even if you can't read, there's lots of things you can listen to and watch that are in line with things that are historically correct.
Yeah.
Right? Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna read a couple more comments and then we can move on. Right? Mm-hmm. Unless you have something else to say, we'll see. What does this have to do with feminism? This rhetoric is dangerous and does nothing to help the real historical issues affecting our families. It just perpetuates creating more division in our community. Stop. This is from Transforming TG on IG. And I agree with that. Yeah, the detriment of the Black family. We'll have to do a whole nother video about that, okay? Has nothing to do with Black women and their choices. Every morning, this is from I Am Jasmine Sanders. Every morning I wake up, I see someone has found another reason to blame Black women for the ills of the Black community and posted it to further spread lies and deception to the world and give Black men another finger to point. She said, ugh, BRB, I'm going to Target. Okay. Next, Erica Alexander the Great. This is lunacy, and this unfortunate woman does not know what she's talking about. Feminism did not kill Black families. There's a whole lot to say about why Black families were unfairly penalized, targeted, and destroyed by racist and systemic policies. But to be clear, feminism is a simple ideology that all women deserve the same rights as all men. Full stop. But in this case, I guess that's the right to be just as stupid too. Ouch. Right? Let me read one more, and this is from, I'm going to read two more. This is from a Black man. Oh, just stop. At the end of the day, tons of Black men decided to not establish two-parent homes. That's on us men. The result is Black women doing what is necessary to survive. Stop attacking Black women because they have to survive the absence of men. Right? This is from Aville Robinson. So on IG. And I agree with this. You know, it's so nuanced, all of these situations. I feel like there's a lot of nuance to go into it, but obviously that is a part of it, right? This next person, darker than the paper bag, says, that's a funny username. What Black woman living in the projects were reading Cosmo magazine? And that's another point. And I'll stop at that, right? Her point was made by like,
I don't even know what that is. Like, what is she talking about?
It was the Sex and the City magazine for uppity white women is what it was, really. Magazines aren't really a thing now like that, but like back in the day they were. And this Cosmo magazine, like trope that she's trying to use it, like there was this women, they were trying to convince Black women to jump on the white women train and to become these sexually free, independent, financially independent, like women. Like it's just stop. As that woman pointed out, Black women in projects were not reading Cosmo magazine. They had better things to do with their time and energy. And let's not even talk about,
maybe you were doing that,
the crack epidemic and the strain that put on the Black families, right?
The what epidemic?
Crack.
You know what? Speaking of that,
And we're going to wrap up here.
you talking about around the 80s?
Yes.
And you said you don't want to watch Snowfall. That's literally what Snowfall is about.
Okay. I don't know.
She's
I've
so
never had,
adamant about not watching the show.
I mean, I just don't have a desire to watch it. I don't know.
Oh. Continue talking while I look this up.
So, yeah. So that, like, it's crazy. Like the crack epidemic, there's several reasons what that led to the demise of Black families. Most of which were planned and contrived by the systems who were obviously led by not Black people. So there's usually like a lot of Black people who's like, stop blaming the man, stop blaming the system, like the system and white folks are not to blame for all of your problems. Maybe not all of our problems. Problems, there's levels. But if we talk about, right, the demise of the Black family historically in this here country, there's no way you can separate that from how the Black family came to be or not be in this country, and how that has affected us, and how all of that trauma has continued to follow us, and how the systemic like issues, racial issues, and like the systemic laws and policies and all of this that are put into place to pretty much hold us down and hold us back. I hate to say it, but gotta call a thing a thing. It's like you can't ignore that. That's part of it. That's a huge part of it, right? And pointing the finger at each other. Black women saying, "Oh, Black men are at fault," and vice versa. It's not the answer. Okay, what are you gonna say? What are you looking at?
So there is this white man, ironically, on YouTube, and his name is Hunter Avalon, and he's like a debater, YouTube debater, I guess is what you call these folks. I don't know, but he mainly talks about social issues, and one of the biggest topics that he does talk about is Black issues, in a good way though. I was a little skeptical at first because he's white, but yeah, and he really did like you could tell like he did a lot of research and made sure he knew everything before he
Like he has historical context to back up his ways of thinking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there was this one debate that he was doing, and one of the people in the debate were saying that like one of the topics of the debate was about Black families, and like what caused it to be like them to be like so like dysfunctional, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And one of the reasons that they talked about was because of the crack situation in the 80s.
Yeah, for sure. Like once we like got some kind of semblance of a semi-central like Black family situation happening in like I feel like the 60s, 70s, right? And and that took how long? Because how long would have that been since slavery had been abolished? Almost 100 years. Like it had always been like 100 years. Like let's say 80, 70 years.
Even after slavery was abolished, everybody just didn't say, okay, slavery is abolished, like you're free to go now. First of all,
there was a process.
Took extremely long time. It took years and years for all that information to go throughout the whole entire country. Mm-hmm. That's for one. Two, even when the information did get out, they didn't care.
Yeah. And then a lot of enslaved people were. Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, and when the slaves were, I guess, let free, they still knew no better. You know what I mean? Because it's how they grew up. It's the only thing that they know.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like, what are they going to do?
Right. And so a lot of them were tricked. What I was going to go into is a good segue. What I was going to go into, like, a lot of them were tricked into staying on the plantations where they were working and still doing the same work they were doing before, but getting paid. And when I say paid,
we're
talking pennies. We're talking pennies.
Maybe less than pennies.
Literal pennies.
Back then, the money wasn't worth what it is now.
Literal pennies. And so, yeah, since slavery was abolished, now I'll pay you to do the work. And then the pay was...
You couldn't live with that. It wasn't livable.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's the whole thing. That video really grinded my gears. It really did. With that,
you can tell,
huh?
You can tell.
You can tell. It did, because what, and then it pisses me off even more that someone like D.L. Hughley with 2 point something odd followers would post that and then put the words "preach" in big letters across as if he agrees with her. And I'm sure, does D.L. Hughley have a black wife?
I don't know who
Look that
that
up.
is.
He's a comedian. DLHUGHLEY.
D.L. Hughley.
Look up wife, D.L. Hughley wife. Is he still married?
His face looks familiar, actually. Yeah.
She's black?
Yes, she's black.
I can't see from over here.
They've been married since 86.
So.
Dang. Thanks.
Yeah, for D.L. Hughley of all people, because Okay, yeah, she's black. I've seen him, and I'm assuming I'm pretty sure they're still married. I've seen him talk about certain issues, and he seems to be a very much so like, if he's not very well read, he listens to people who are, you know? Like, I feel like I've heard him have like talking points that were like, yes, you got it right. He got it wrong. And I hate that he reposted this. He has so many followers. And you posted this, and so many people are going to see this and run with it. Just like somebody in the comments said, like, they see things online, and because it makes an inkling of sense in their own brain, they repeat it to other people as if it's like the way of the world and like it's an actual fact. It's so dangerous. So I hate that he posted that. It's really irresponsible of him to do the amount of followers that he has. But anyway, we can move on. So what you watching?
So there's a movie that we were watching. So there's a movie that we were watching on Netflix called The Mother, and it is a pretty good movie. It's a movie with Jennifer Lopez and that little girl. I don't know what her name is, but The Mother on Netflix. It's about a mother, and she was in a pretty dangerous. I don't want to give too many details or spoilers or anything, but she was in a pretty dangerous situation.
Lucy Paez, that's her name. Go ahead.
Sorry?
The girl's name. The actress's name that played the little girl, Lucy Paez.
Oh. Mm-hmm. So the mother was in a pretty dangerous situation while she was pregnant, so she decided to...
Spoiler alert! Go ahead.
It's not a spoiler alert.
Go ahead. This time it is. People don't want to go. Just go ahead. She decided to what?
Anyway, so she was in a pretty dangerous situation, so she had to give the baby away. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like a family. And yeah, and the mother's like an assassin and in the military and things like that, and she just made sure that her daughter was safe and protected her throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
She was involved with very dangerous people, which put her daughter at risk, so she had to protect her throughout her life whilst not having contact with her daughter.
Right. At first, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very good. I feel like Jennifer Lopez did a very good job in her role. Very badass, if you will. Lucy,
also Ghost from Power was in there. What's his name?
Omari Hardwick.
Yeah.
And his character could not catch a break. He could not catch a break. But yes, he was in there as well. And I think it was a very good movie. You know, it's very much so like action, but it wasn't too much action. Yeah, it's very like some shocking moments in there. I don't know. It was shocking to me.
Yeah, to her.
Because it was like things I was like, you know what I'm saying? It's those kind of moments. And she was be like, what's going on? But yeah. Yeah, lots of those moments in there for me.
Good watch.
So y'all should give that a watch if you haven't already. I think it's in one of the top movies in Netflix right now.
Number one.
Yeah. So very, very good. I just wanted to follow up about, well, first of all, before I say that, I'm very excited about The Little Mermaid. And when we go see it next weekend, obviously gonna have to come in here and talk about it. So it's gonna be very fun. I'm so excited. I've been watching all of the videos, all of Hallie's renditions of the song. What's the song called? I always want to say A Whole New World, but that's Aladdin. So it's not A Whole New World. I've got responsibility. I've got horses and what's it galore. One thing about us. What's the name of that song? But okay, but I feel I want more. The Little Mermaid song. Yes, been listening to that, the live version, the studio version, and I'm just so ready. We've already bought tickets, so anyway, excited about that.
Part of your world.
Yeah, excited, super excited about that. So I just want to follow up because I know I mentioned, I believe in a previous video about Flight MH370, the documentary. I haven't finished it, which full transparency, I have a habit of starting things on Netflix or other like avenues and not finishing them. So
did you know that The Little Mermaid came out in 1989?
Yes.
What is going on?
So I have a habit of not finishing things like shows. Like that's why I think that's probably why in my heart of hearts why I prefer to watch movies than shows, because I've started so many shows and I don't finish them. For instance, Queen Charlotte is like a big thing out right now, right? But it's like a spinoff from Bridgerton. I've seen the entire first season of Bridgerton. I did not watch the second season at all. Now this Queen Charlotte has like all the rave, and like I have to go back and watch the second season and then catch up to Queen Charlotte. It's like so much. And then like having to like go back and catch up, it just becomes a lot and overwhelming. And I just normally just won't do it at all. And then I just fall off. And then there's lots of shows that I start watching the beginning and I just never finish the first season at all. Like I watch like 3 or 4 episodes and I'm like, I just lose interest. And so I never continue to watch it. So that y'all pray for me when it comes to finishing things that I start watching. But yeah, with this MH370 thing, I didn't finish it. But they're talking about there's different theories, right? There was a theory that the pilot did like a suicide hole situation with the train. A spoiler alert. Not train. It's not a train. It's a plane. Second theory. You have something to say about The Little Mermaid other than it was made in 1989? Okay. Second theory. Is there was a hijacking situation. They said it's possibility to be a hijacking. Mind you, all these theories have like plausibility, but they also have like things where it's like, and because of this and that, this is probably not it. So there's like, you have to weigh out what you believe. The second one about the hijacking, they said it could have been hijacked, right? And they were saying how there was this like electronics bay in the whole of the plane that controls pretty much all the electronics. They were like, if it was hijacked, how could the person, because all of the like communication instruments on the plane went dark, like all at once. So they're saying if it got hijacked, the person would have had to like go into this electronics bay and like disconnect all the things. And I'm like, well, surely this electronics bay was locked, right? Well, it makes sense. If you have an area of the plane that if you go into it, you can cut off all things in the plane. It should be locked, no?
I don't know. I guess Malaysian people might be naive, or I guess crimes don't happen.
What is going on? Why is that a thing? Because they were like, oh yeah, there's electronics bay. There's like a little hatch door in the front, like by the first class. You just open the hatch and walk down. Like what? What is going on?
Right.
Like that should not be a thing. It should be locked with a key, a padlock, super glue, all of the locks it should have. Like nobody should be able to walk down. So I was flabbergasted that could even be a possibility. Why is it not secured? And I really do hope, for the love of everything holy, that is still not a thing in any airline around the world. Like if there's an electronics bay that you can go down and like disconnect shit, lock it. I don't know. Sounds like a good idea to me.
So,
but yeah, anyway, that was my little spill on that.
yeah, definitely should be locked. I agree. There should be a key of some sort, multiple locks. Yeah, all that.
Full show. Okay, what you got? What you got a bone to pick this week?
Yes, I do have a bone to pick.
What bone you got to pick?
Okay.
I say we did not have a
Sorry.
So, let's go with the Zaxby situation.
Okay.
At my school. So basically what people do during lunch, because school lunch is trash, nobody likes it.
It's giving prison food.
Worse than prison food. We like order food to the school, right? Like we might like DoorDash something, maybe some Chick-fil-A or Wendy's, McDonald's, Zaxby's, all that.
Sometimes is it? Sometimes it's just sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then one day, me and two of my friends, we ordered some Zaxby's to the school, and it's not allowed, by the way, like it's against the rules, but people still do it, obviously. So we ordered some Zaxby's, and one of the administrators, well, I won't say it, she's not an administrator, one of the somebody of the staff
Yeah.
of the school, she followed my friend like down the hallway, and when he walked into the classroom with the Zaxby's, it was me and two of my friends, so he had our food. He went to go get the food from the dasher and brought it up to the classroom. She saw him with the food, and she came into the classroom when he walked in, and then took the food while me and the other friend were sitting in class, right? So he was...
So you saw it being taken?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it happened in the hallway.
No, he was walking.
He was walking into the class, and she took it. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So then, she was telling him this is during third block, and he wasn't even here that day. So
who wasn't there today?
My teacher.
Oh, okay.
My teacher wasn't there that day, so he didn't like see any of it or know anything about the situation. But she told him to like come here and like give give her the food. So he gave her the food. And then she decided that she wanted to brag about having the food to teachers in the hallway and taunting us and making fun of us and saying that they were going to eat our food and have such a great time with our food. And yeah, it was definitely giving Diary of a Wimpy Kid bullying. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I didn't eat for that whole day. Oh, I ate that morning, but I didn't eat again until about 12, 13 hours later because I have track practice after school. So that was great. And I was complaining about it to my mom. And then my mom emailed the school.
I emailed the teachers that you told me
Were
involved. Yes, with the taking of the items. And I copied the vice principal.
He was involved as well, by the way.
Yes, he was involved. But so I copied the vice principal that was involved and told them that how, like, so this is what pretty much what I said in the email was, because it wouldn't have been a thing if like the taunting and like the immaturity didn't exist in the whole situation, in them eating the food or saying that they were going to eat the food. You know, who knows if they actually ate it? I don't know. I don't think that at this particular instance they actually ate the food in the kid's face. Did this happen in this instance? Did they eat it right in front of you? Did you see them eat it?
No, they just said they were going to.
Okay. So in this particular instance, I was like, I thought from what she told me, I thought that they actually ate the food. It was miscommunication between me and her. I thought they would actually ate the food in her face, which was a whole thing. But also the teasing and the taunting and all of that is just uncalled for. So I wrote an email and saying, you know, asking them what is the correct protocol for when someone if someone gets caught breaking this particular rule, right? So it's a rule that they can't order outside food. So if someone is being caught breaking this rule, what's the protocol?
A rule that shouldn't be a thing because the teachers break the rule all the time. Like literally the next day, the same teacher that took the food ordered food.
Well, I think it's a rule for students, not for teachers. Right? Are teachers supposed to be following this? I don't know. It's a whole other conversation. But excuse me. So yeah, I was like, what's the protocol? Because the fact that you as a teacher would, at this time, mind you, I thought that they ate the food in the children's faces, which from what I understand has happened before, correct?
Yeah, I don't know about eating it in their faces, but I like the lady that took the food. She's bragged to me before. She's had a conversation with me and she was bragging to me about how she took someone's McDonald's and gave it to people in the front office for them to eat.
Which has some history. We've had things like this happen before. We're giving food to faculty to eat. So, right? I wrote an email because even though there's a breaking of the rule, what is the correct protocol? I'm sure in the protocol handbook booklet, it doesn't say you must take the food and then tell the kids you're going to eat it and then taunt them about eating and make fun of them for not being able to eat food and that you're going to enjoy their food so much. And then take the food, eat it, enjoy it in your belly and spread it around for the joy for everyone to see. Like that absolutely not. And so that's what I had a problem with. Like Ashley knows, Jazelle knows that she, you know, if there's a rule and she breaks a rule, there's a consequences. What the consequences are not going to be, as long as I have anything to do with it and her as well, is that the taunting and the teasing and the eating of food or even claiming that you're going to eat the food. Like what's the point and purpose of that? What is it? Like you would think that the consequence that you would want to give out to children who are breaking a rule would be to prevent them from doing it in the future, right? That kind of behavior is not. It's very childish, you know. It's giving 8th grade, like, like bully. It's just, it just wasn't called for. So that's why I sent the email, to understand what's the correct protocol, because why are you taking the child's food, taunting them about it, making fun of them, how you're going to enjoy it, and then like laughing at them about it, you know, that's the part, right? Yeah. So that's why I had to write the email, and also let them know that, like, listen, my daughter knows if she breaks a rule, there might be consequences or whatever, but let those be the consequences. Let the consequence be the consequence. Like, what's all the extra that's going on that these administrators or staff or whatever they are, whatever the job titles are doing. It's very inappropriate and unnecessary. Yeah, and it's giving like abuse of power, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Or at least displaying abuse of power, even if they really didn't eat the food, right? But why would you tease somebody that you're going to eat the food?
Right.
What else do you have to say about the situation?
So, yes, the next day after the email was sent, I got called to the assistant principal's office, and him and the lady that took the food were there, and saying that I don't know, it's like they were trying to intimidate me and telling me to my face that I am the one that's lying, and that I should give her a call and apologize to her and to them that I'm spreading rumors about them and saying that they are doing things that are not true and that they would never do to students, which I didn't do at all. Yeah, I just found that extremely crazy and insane. Because why would I lie about that? That's just not something to like lie about. I have no reason to lie about that.
Yeah, and he called. Oh, go ahead.
And they also started blaming me for other stuff. And then there was like the lady was saying, yeah, I caught you out of class in the hallway after the bell rang. Like, you weren't even in class, you were skipping. First of all, nobody was skipping. I was in class when you took the food. I wasn't even the person that you took the food from. I was sitting in my seat in my class well before the bell rang. So then she proceeded to be like, what did she say? She was saying, like, after I said that, then she kept saying the same thing. And then she was like, so you skipped class too? Like, she was, she kept like changing subjects about like other things to get me in trouble for that I've never done.
It's giving gaslighting is what it's giving. And confusion, right? Because mind you, I waited. It had been a week since the actual incident had happened before I actually sent the email. So I'm assuming there's probably several students that order food, and she's probably confiscated other people's food. So maybe she had incidents confused and she didn't know which incident that this one was, because I kind of waited a whole week before I sent the email. But yeah, when they called me, well, they didn't call me. The assistant principal called me, and I said, or he said, he told me pretty much like, oh, there must have been a miscommunication because they didn't actually eat the food items in the kid's face, like in eyeshot of the kids. I said, yeah. Maybe there's a miscommunication, you know, because maybe they just said they were going to eat it and they took it literally. But, excuse me, but there's no way that Ashlyn would just make up a story. Why would she come home and just unprovoked, unprompted, just make up a story that somebody took her food and taunted and teased her that they were going to eat it and enjoy it so much, and that their stomach is going to be empty and like eating itself by the end of the day, like no, like she wouldn't make that up. And so maybe there was some miscommunication in there about the eating the food right then and there in front of their faces. But the whole taunting, teasing, immaturity of it all, of that part, I feel as if was not fabricated, right?
Yeah.
That's something that happened.
Yeah.
And it's something that has happened before too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, whatever. If there's a consequence for her breaking a rule, by all means, she knows that if she breaks a rule, there are consequences for breaking rules, in these structured situations. So yeah, so you just have to deal with that consequence and learn your lesson that way. But all of the extraness just wasn't called for. And so, yeah, we just had that conversation, I feel like it was a very short conversation to have with the vice president, vice principal. And, I let him know, like, she wouldn't make this up. And he was like, this is a small miscommunication. And then he admitted, actually, that the taunting and the teasing was something that probably did happen and that, shouldn't happen. And so, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that lady has got going on. She just kept, like, pivoting and trying to, like, blame stuff on me and like, what do you say, gaslighting me and stuff like that. And then she was like, and when I told her, I was like, you've bragged to me before that you take students' food and give them to your coworkers. And then
You said that in there?
Yeah. And she said, she was like, she said, why would she say that? And Mr. Crump, what did he say? Mr. Crump said, she never said that. She wouldn't do that. First of all, mind yours. This is between me and her. You weren't there.
Relax.
Right. And then she was saying, I've never even seen you in my life. I don't know you. Who are you? Okay, like, what's your point?
It doesn't matter remember because there's thousands of students that go to that school. She might not remember, but you remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Them cameras remember. Caught you in 4K. So, yeah, that was quite crazy. Not the best morning that I've had going to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And she was like, well, if I was having this conversation with you, then that means you must have done this before. You do this often, then. No. You're taking me to ISS because my teacher was mad at me for, I don't know what he had going on, but he dragged me into something. And yeah, he kicked me out the classroom, and I was asking him, like, what did I do? And he didn't have a response.
So yeah, you're semi in trouble for something unrelated to food. And then while you were having this conversation, she was bragging about her taking a student's food and dispersing the items amongst her coworkers.
Wait, no. I think it's because I had, like, my snack bag, and then she was talking about how it was illegal, and then she proceeded to brag about how she takes people's food and eat it. It's not illegal, by the way. She's over-exaggerating.
Oh, child. Yeah, so there's that. I feel like we're coming up on an hour and a half now, but
Yeah.
Any final words about that situation?
No final words.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, crazy situation, I hate having to have those type of conversations with teachers that send nice, nasty emails and checking teachers. But, sometimes it just needs to be done. It just needs to be done. Because they will try it as long as they are allowed to try it. They will. So we'll see how this transpires for the rest of the school year. But the school year is almost over. Thank goodness. Miss Ma'am is a rising junior. Thank goodness. So yeah. And I'm just going to skip. I don't think I have any like a bone to pick with anybody this week, really, like it. But we're kind of like so deep in this episode that, I think we're just going to cut it. We're going to cut it. So, any last words? Good luck on states tomorrow. State championships tomorrow.
Yeah.
Gotta get up super early. So we're gonna cut it so she can get her some rest for state championships tomorrow. So wish her luck. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Peace.
I'm hungry.
Why can you can say that during the podcast?
Okay.
Why don't you wait until I ended the podcast?
I wasn't
and
waiting.
Like, what do you want to eat?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, let's go.
I don't know. Your love friend.
It's 8:10 right now. Okay.
All right. Oh,
Making note of the time.
yes. All right. Oh, yes.
WHSS.
WHSS.
WSHS.
I was going to say EHS.
What is that?
East High School.
The blasphemy. Why would you do East?
Because that's where I heard it from. That's where Tim went. And I went to his football games, and that's the only place that I...
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay,
so they just said EHS all the time.
Oh.
EHS.
So I'm pretty sure every cheer team in the city did that cheer.
Yeah.
But for us, since we have so many letters and then W has 3 syllables, we have to fit it in there.
Right.
So WSHS.
Yikes.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah. Lego.
Okay.
So
get it, get it, ay, 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 get it, ay, 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 get it, ay, 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 get it, ay, ay, ay.
okay.
I'm hot, so I don't know why I kept this on, but it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna work it through. Do you want to bring us in? I don't remember our intro.